Hey, it's Bill the Handyman up here in Northern California. Today we're working on a Ford Escort, and so basically we've got an overheating situation. And so what I did is I used this K&W nanotechnology permanent gasket block repair fluid. So it has these instructions on the back that are in Spanish and English. And so basically what you want to do is you want to drain your system, pull your thermostat out, flush it. I flushed this out 3 times, and actually I used half batch and half batch. And it says if you want better results, use their cleaner. They have a flush cleaner that you could use, but I didn't use that. I just flushed it out like 3 times. The second time I flushed it out, I heated it up. I turned it on, let the water get hot, and then flushed it out. And then the third time what I did is I left the bottom hose loose. And so basically what happened was it was running between the M and the A at first. Now it's by the R, which is really cool. And I've got the heater off. I think normally you should have your heater on so that your heater cord does not get plugged up. I've had heater cords get plugged up before. Okay, so we're getting pretty hot. I'm actually going to flush it. I'm going to flush it one more time here. I'm going to flush it one more time. And the trick is that when you flush it, ideally you want to flush it when it's hot. So basically you want to pull your drain hose off when it's hot, so that way when the water gets out of the system, then it'll dry inside there. And I was actually thinking about taking a heat gun and running it through there, but as long as the engine is hot, when you drain the liquid, the material will dry in there. And so I'm having a pretty good feeling about this one. But the ideal situation would be to replace the head gasket and or have the head checked for cracks. Okay, so after you've run the solution through your cooling system, the thermostat has to be removed. The thermostat is under this electronic distributor module. And be careful, because these bolts that hold the thermostat housing are notoriously brittle. So you need to make sure and possibly heat it up and or spray some liquid wrench or some other WD-40 on there, and don't force those bolts, otherwise you might break them. And so basically after you've put the solution inside and flush the unit several times, after each time you put the stuff in your radiator, you want to let it dry with the hoses open so the air breathes out. And you might even take a heat gun and blow in there just a little bit, and make sure that your hoses don't become too soft if you do that. But I figured as long as you flush the system when it's still hot, and be careful, you might burn yourself. As long as you flush the system while it's still hot, everything will dry inside the cooling system, including the nanoparticulates that are supposed to seal the leak. And of course you want to check your thermostat. Ideally you want to replace your thermostat But I'm just going to check my thermostat. I will be getting a new one, but I'm checking my thermostat. What I'll do is I'll boil some water. In this case, the water boiled twice. I set the thermostat in there after I pulled it out of the microwave, and the thermostat does not seem to be opening. So in this case, I think what caused the head gasket or crack in the head was the thermostat. Apparently there are what they call the fail-safe thermostats, so that if they go bad, they will go bad open, so it will continue to allow water to flow through the system. This would be the ideal part for your car. Yeah, this one is not reacting. I've had it in boiling water for several minutes. It does not react. It's probably just tired and worn out. So once again, I don't put the thermostat in the microwave. I heat the water up and then put the thermostat in separately. And I was using a wire to fish it out. Yeah, so anyway, you get the idea. And of course, you'll need to change your oil, because your oil, if you have water in your oil, you'll notice it by this milky stuff around the edge here. Sometimes it's a lot thicker, and you'll notice it on your dipstick here. It'll be milky. So you'll need to change your oil, and you'll need to change your filter. And so you change your filter and just get a cheap one and see how it works. And in that way, if something screws up, then you won't be spending a lot of money. And so meanwhile, you should be ordering the head gasket kit. I order it from rockauto.com. It's the cheapest. I think it was like about 50 bucks, 50 or 60 bucks for the head gasket set for this. And so if you look at your oil, you'll see it's going to look kind of milky looking like that. And just let that puppy drain for, if you're letting your system dry out, you have to flush your system, let it dry out overnight. Be careful, because working on automobiles could be hazardous to your health as well as others. But basically, when I took the flush out of the radiator, I'm saving it. So when I take the flush out, I save it for later, and I'm gonna put the flush back in it to fill it up when I run it. Then I'll run it with this flush here in it. This is the residual block sealer that may be able to be useful in the system. It may or may not be a good idea if this actually has small particulates in here that are not sort of conducive to the water pump seal. Then that might not be a good idea. You'd probably have to check that out for yourself. So now I'm thinking about it. Well, I'm going to put this back in here anyway, because I plan on doing a head gasket repair on it, so it's probably not going to matter too much. So yeah, that's your tip for today, and I hope it works for you. And again, ideally the situation would be to pull the head and replace the head gas, check the head, have the head resurfaced, and possibly a valve job. So that's your tip for today. If you need any help, you can contact me at 707-445-1591. And it's 707-445-1591.